Okay, looks like I'm on. What's good, folks? It's a rather nice silver color, but these are definitely not chrome. Oh well. I suppose if you could compare it to anything, they kind of resemble the Tin Man from the Lego Movie 2. That kind of silver color. I suppose it would be a tall order to expect everything to be chromed. You can get chromed minifigures on AliExpress. How's it going, Owen? How are you doing? What statements? You got me concerned now. You got assaulted. Well, that's an issue for the police, I think. If you haven't already, I would certainly file a report or something. But I hope you're okay, though. That can't have been a very pleasant experience. How's it going, JDP? Good to see you, man. Well, I won't say too much because it might incriminate me, but I can certainly empathize with that sentiment. I actually don't think it's gotten that far within the Lego space. There have been some people who I probably would have fought, but no, it's thankfully hasn't gone to that stage. But yeah, hope you're doing all right. And yeah, that's got to be a tough thing. I mean, I've been on both sides of something like that, and it's not pretty either way. I'm doing okay though, JDP. I am just trying to make my way as one does, trying to find ways of staying relevant and motivated. So I'm just taking the time to assemble these third-party minifigures that I got from AliExpress. How are you doing though? Yeah, it's also a good reason as to why I have made a conscious decision not to do any events this year, at least as far as I can as far as I can think. I won't be doing any events, neither 3D printing nor Lego. Good to hear, JDP. Actually, I'm in two minds actually as to whether or not to go to this year's Maker Central because people from the Lego space have started invading, and there have been some people from the 3D printing space who've started invading the maker space because 3D printing and Lego have been accepted as making, and there's plenty of people I'd rather not come across. How's it going, Alexandria? I haven't been ignoring you. How are you doing? How was your hot date on Saturday? Yeah, these hands can be quite tough to put in, unfortunately. If I had something I could possibly, yeah, maybe this sort of, Maybe this will work. How's it going, filling bricks? How are you doing, filling bricks? Well, it could have been a hot date made out of Lego. Who knows? Nobody really knows. Ouch. Yeah, some of the times these hands can be very difficult to put in. But anyway, glad to see you guys here, if only for a little while. As I said before, I am taking some time out from work and everything, but also because I haven't seen anybody else streaming, so I thought I'd fill in the gap. I will warn you guys ahead of time that after 2 rounds of buying random Go Bricks parts on AliExpress, I did the really stupid thing and ordered another round of Go Bricks parts on AliExpress just earlier today. So I'm going to be doing another unboxing at some point, probably next week. I just couldn't help myself, man. I guess I was bored. I guess I was looking for something to do. I did actually try and scramble to find something for Valentine's Day to build so I could join in with the Valentine's Day festivities. But even on Amazon, looking at both Lego and third-party sets, there was nothing that really tickled my fancy. So I decided against it because it wouldn't really be worth it just for the sake of having something to build. But I really do have to calm down with these purchases because I have a few other things to take care of, not least a few projects that I've already started and should be finishing. Oh man. Well, you know what? I'm not judging too much because I hear that smoking is really hard to quit. I've heard all kinds of stories about how addictive smoking can be. So I am not passing any judgment because I have absolutely no idea how difficult it is. At the same time, though, it really is a choice, I would say. So at least you recognize that maybe perhaps you're using the vaping as a way of dealing with things. I suppose for me, it would be either coffee or sugar. Two equally bad things, but I don't have much of a vice, I would say. Now, I don't know if there actually exists a tool that would help with assembling minifigures. I thought about some pliers, but with the arms, it would be quite tricky. Pushing these hands in there are the real challenges. So I've got 6 here. Yeah, I've already, just as a personal challenge, it wasn't anything long term, but I've already gone 2 weeks without having coffee. And I actually felt as if I got more sleep when I wasn't having coffee. Because as soon as I started back on Friday last week, I found myself getting out of bed a bit later. And I was meant to do something this morning, but I didn't get up in time. But that was also to do with trying to get something else done. Even then, though, I don't have to have coffee. I've got to, I mean, I miss the ritual more than actually having the coffee. But yeah, one thing at a time, I'd say. Got to be careful with these hands because if you press them too hard or press them the wrong way, they could break. And then these would be good to neither man nor beast. I got to say, though, Monday's a pretty bad day to be an alcoholic. It's usually at the weekends, especially where I used to live. It was was this many years ago. This was a nightclub area, lots of bars and nightclubs and things. But you got the quite frequent alcoholics roaming around after hours. So yeah, usually, how's it going, Mac? Yeah, usually it happens at the weekends, but I think it's a pretty bad thing for somebody to be drunk on a Monday. But that's just me. Thanks for stopping by, though, Mac. It's good to see you. I'm just filling in the time until somebody else goes live, I guess. But this is also to help people be reminded that there is some crazy dude named Silent Mode over here in the UK who occasionally does things with Lego. Although right now I've done more with third-party brands than I've done with Lego. Thank you, Mac. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the comments about my voice, and ironically, you guys may not know this, but ironically, I've had long-standing issues with my voice. The main one being that I'm actually soft-spoken and I'm much louder on these streams than I am in person. So people would usually make comments about me being soft-spoken and being too quiet. And that's been my major hang-up. And I think it's quite amazing that it's now become somewhat of an asset. But I will be honest, though, while I do appreciate the comments about my voice, and I really do appreciate it, I'd also like to be known for the stuff that I do. But then again, I have to do more of the stuff that I want to be known for doing. So basically, I don't just want to be a pretty voice. Okay. Let's see. And yeah, it is important not to take any crap from anybody. There's unfortunately, I think now more than ever, there are people who will try us whenever they can because they got so much going on in their lives. But it is very, very important to to stand up for ourselves whenever it's safe to do so. And failing that, it's important not to be around people who, as much as we can, not to be around people who want to try us, because that can be extremely stressful. Well, Mac, this year I hope to be able to do a lot more demonstration of some of the things that I do. Again, though, as I mentioned to other people, it's more the case of actually putting things out because I have created things. I have actually got 90% of the way with a bunch of things I've been working on. I just haven't shown anybody for whatever reason. So this seems to have been going okay so far. I've got some transparent dark blue ones to assemble now. So I'll spend a little bit more time here. I tell you, man, things are crazy. But you know what? So am I. All right, it's got some nice transparent blue minifigures here, also third party. I thought about getting some more in different colors today, but I decided against that. Yes, thank you, Alexandria. And I did see your comment this morning. I have been meaning to respond to it and give it a like and everything. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now. There we go. But glad you liked the figure. It was something that I've practiced doing for the last couple of years. And I was amazed at how quickly I was able to turn it around and how well the process went. But yeah, glad you liked it. And it was something that I did especially for Valentine's Day. I didn't want or anything that's typical Valentine's colors. I wanted to do something a little bit different. And that's where the creativity comes in. And with any luck, there are going to be a few more of those figures in the future. That reminds me, I've got to think of something for St. Patrick's Day. Any suggestions for St. Patrick's Day? So I think because of the kind of plastic this is a little bit easier to put together. There we go, it's much simpler. Well, Owen, I think that's an issue for the authorities. I wouldn't get involved in any of that. I think the most important thing is to let people know that something is not how it should be. Excuse me. Perhaps a shamrock in unusual colors. You know, I have to admit, I have to look up what a shamrock is. Okay, that's simple enough. Yeah, that's a possibility. A shamrock. Yes. Before I forget, I should write that down. See there, I've just written it there. One of the benefits of having a sheet of paper as a makeshift tablecloth. Well, here's the thing, Owen. I mean, I say that it's a matter for the authorities and the police and things, but I don't know if anybody else is noticing, but they're becoming a lot more useless these days because just about, well, it's almost as if the criminals are allowed to roam free and terrorize people. But if you try and do something about it, then you get called the criminal. I'll just leave things at that. Anyway, um, yeah, St. Patrick's Day. I've heard that there's going to be an effort to do a St. Patrick's Day brick crawl, and I've been asked if I wanted to be part of it, and I registered my interest. And yeah, it may be worth trying to put something together for my potential time slot there. But yeah, there's just so much to think about right now, so much to do. Well, from my perspective, we need, well, I can actually understand that point, Alexandra, because not just the police, but anybody generally involved in security, they're basically being told not to do anything for whatever reason. It's a big problem with public transport. You get so many people jumping the barriers, not paying for their fares and everything, and we're told that there's a crackdown on fare evasion and whatnot, but every time I see it happening, the staff don't do anything, and there's no security guards. There's no real form of protection. And I've told people a couple of times, I've told the staff members a couple of times when people have been doing things that are against the rules, such as smoking. Can you believe somebody even urinated on a train platform once in broad daylight? And they don't do anything. So on the one hand, it looks as if these people don't want to actually do any policing or security. But on the other hand, if they can be believed, they're actually being told they're not meant to do any policing or security. So who knows what's going on? Let one of us do something a tenth as serious as what these people do, however, they'd lock us up. How did I get to this point? I think it's that never too old. He's been such a bad influence on me with the ranting and everything. It's okay, Owen. I mean, I've got no problem with you whatsoever. And I can actually relate because I don't mean to be a villain. I don't mean to be a bad person, but some people see me as a bad person anyway. And sometimes no matter what we do, we're seen as bad people anyway. But there's not much we can do about that. I think the only thing we can really do is resolve to not be like those people, not be like those criminals, to be people who are for the solution and not the problem. That's me putting my leftist hat on. Anyway, lighter topics. At some point, I would like to get on with designing Pallet Town again. I don't think it's going to be this week, however. I think this week is more to do with assembling these minifigures. And I think on Friday, if it's going ahead, I'll be joining Tristan and Owen for their live stream. And then there's St. Patrick's Day to prepare for, and thinking, slightly in the future. There's actually a brick festival I wouldn't mind being a part of, but at the same time, I don't have anything to build. Thanks for stopping by, Mac. I hope I haven't scared you off. But have a good one anyway. Yeah, there's so much to think about, so much I want to do, so much to do. Oh yeah, I had another thought last night, actually. So what was this thought? Owen asks. Well, you may have seen on YouTube and perhaps other sites these videos about people hiring people to make these computer games on Fiverr or Upwork or places like that. And they have differing results, whether they pay people different amounts or whether they hire different people in different countries or something like that. But the idea is that they hire people to make a computer game based on a brief. And then they post the results of those computer games on in videos. I was thinking of doing these, pretty much the same thing, because I had an idea for a game way back in the day, and I would make it myself. I just don't have the knowledge. So I thought about perhaps hiring somebody to make a prototype or something and see how that goes. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the means to hire multiple people. But at this point, it's more about getting the idea out. So I know that I wouldn't be able to do anything myself, so it may be beneficial to hire somebody. Excuse me. It's a very simple game. So back in 2022, I had this concept for a go-karting game featuring some of my characters. And the idea was to bring back the essence of the original Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo. If I were to make a game, I've got some transparent minifigures here. If I were to actually make the game, it would probably be a cross between the original Super Mario Kart and Micro Machines. You're probably too young to remember both of those. But yeah, it would be the game combined with my Lego models and various other ideas. I just figure it would be nice to have. And if I were to show it at events, for example, I could have people look at the models while they play the game, have a real immersive experience, something like that. But you know what? It's just a pipe dream at the moment. But it's something that I could potentially pursue. Yeah, the mic. Well, there was a which is quite difficult to put in. Yeah, there was a Micro Machines racing game. I had it on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, and it was basically a top down two-dimensional driving game, which was quite fun, but can be very difficult. And then, of course, there's Super Mario Karts on the Super Nintendo. But yeah, I mean, the idea for the original project came from just seeing what's happened with Mario Karts and how it's basically just become this. Well, for me personally, it's become more Disney-like and completely unrealistic, although people have fun with it. I wanted to bring things back to the essence of actual driving rather than, uh, incorporating flying and all these other things. Okay, Owen won't be available on Friday. That's okay. Just let Tristan know. But anyway, that's just one of many ideas. And depending on what my situation is, I'd have to think about it. What's this? Looks like a broken piece of arm or something. Yeah. Yeah, the Invisible Man. There's actually, if you look hard enough on AliExpress, there's actually a glow in the dark transparent minifigure. So I had thought about getting one of those, but I think I haven't actually used these yet, so let's hold off on it. But thank you, Owen. All right. Don't worry, folks. These are going to be the last ones I do, and then I'll give you guys your time back. Yes. So yeah, there's those things I talked about. There's the big rebuilds. I have started doing some research into what I'm going to be rebuilding. And I think there's a really good opportunity to create something special. They could be ice soldiers. I would use, I think there are transparent light blue ones. I think they'd be more appropriate for ice soldiers, although this could work as well. I'd probably use these ones as ice sculptures rather than actual animated figures. There we go. But they do look pretty good as transparent. So Lego themselves has started putting out transparent pieces, but they're mostly some form of colored translucent parts. They haven't, as far as I'm aware, made a completely transparent minifigure. I also noticed that these ones have the heads already assembled on the torso. And I literally just thought of it now, but the legs are already assembled as well. This one, for some reason, has an extra hand. Well, I was thinking of trying to fit the other one on. This one's pretty much stuck now. There we go. Hey, don't worry about it, Owen. You take care of whatever you have to do, as long as what you have to do is within the law, of course. So anyway, I've taught goodness knows how much about myself. Let me know what you guys are up to. What is new in your part of the world? Oh, gosh, remind me of what you're building again, Alexandria. Oh, crap. I just broke the hands. Let's see if I can. Well, it's not going to be the best solution, but I'm going to try and super glue it. It will mean that I won't be able to move this hand, but never mind. Oh, yes, that's the one. The Paris architecture sets, or more appropriately, the postcard set. I don't know if this is going to work. No, probably not. I'm surprised this hasn't happened more often, actually. Okay, well, I think what I'll do is, since I have a spare hand over there, or at least I think I do, I'm just going to drill this stump out and then replace the hands. I don't think it's worth trying to repair a part that small. You never know what set will be awesome and what set will be a dumpster fire. Well, for the most part, I pay attention to what other people's experiences with the sets are. And for the most part, I go by the imagery when it comes to deciding what sets I'm going to buy. If I'm intrigued by possible building techniques, if I'm intrigued by the selection of parts, for example, then I'm more likely to purchase a set, I'd say. Oh, no, I don't know. I mean, you've obviously been able to build Lego sets before, and I don't have any experience of that particular set, so I have no idea. I'm naturally not going to suggest that you suck at anything. That would just be rude, wouldn't it? A little bit of flashing here on the plastic. So it was just meant to be the silver minifigures, and I ended up doing transparent dark blue and these transparent ones as well. That's okay though. Getting all this done. Just gotta be really careful putting these hands in. Okay. Damn. It's really hard to put in. Okay, let's not try and force it. There we go. One thing I had noticed actually, to your point, Alexandria, is that sometimes the instructions don't really make any sense. I think part of that is to do with, I guess, the standards for building these days. Some people have mentioned the one stud connections for some parts for the sake of making things look realistic. And dare I say it, sometimes people perhaps get very lazy when it comes to how a build is structured. But creating instructions is an art form. But you see the fact that there are these one stud connections, it tells me that some of these sets definitely aren't for children, which is what I've been told is Lego's target audience. Although there are some sets these days that are labeled for adults. I don't know actually if the one stud connection thing is unique to the adult sets. I just think about it in terms of when I was very, very fortunate to work on one of the Lego books with a few other people. We were given all kinds of guidelines as to how things should be built for inclusion in a book. And certainly the quality of the connections between parts was an issue. Things had to be easy enough for a child to build, but I guess in the context of a book. But in fairness, I would probably say that the requirements for featuring a model in a book are much more strict than for a retail set. Here we've got one more of these to do. I'm actually quite concerned about these ones because they do seem a bit more fragile. But they are third party, so what can we expect? This is the last one. And this one also has an extra hand. Ow. Is that in? Yeah, I think that's in. Just about. Should be able to put these in. No problem. Try another hand. There we go. That's it. Okay, so I got one minifigure to repair. These are a new hand. And these are the figures that I put together today. We have the transparent black ones from this morning. I'll just rearrange them like so. And then on this live stream, we have the so-called chrome silver ones. We've got transparent dark blue, and we've got the transparent minifigures. I have a few more different colored ones, and then the rest of them are going to be the family stripe colors. They do look pretty cool, and the intention was to use these to populate my future creations. And I guess the good thing is that they probably won't be stolen because people will know that they're not actually Lego, although some people might just steal them for the sake of it. But glad you like him, Alexandria. Just having a look at what else I have. Don't worry, I'm not going to build anything else tonight. Oh. Okay, the only ones I have left are these ones, which are supposedly gold, but they look more like a pearl gold. But they're going to have to wait because it is time to give you guys your time back. And all that's left to say right now is thank you very much for stopping by. Thanks for joining me as I put these figures together. I will probably see you guys later in the week. Until next time, though, this has been Silent Mode, maker, artist, and Lego enthusiast. As always, encouraging you all to do your thing.